All right, good evening. If I can have your attention, please. My name is Angie Thompson. I am the Henry County Board Chair. It is 6:32, and I will be calling the meeting to order. I just want to welcome everybody to our annual parent meeting. We're going to start with Mr. Welch, who's going to lead us in a word of prayer.
Thank you, Angie. Bow your heads. Lord, again, thank you for the day and your blessings, God. Thank you for the time that we can gather here as a Piedmont family and look back at the year we've had so far. Lord, thank you for each family that's represented here and then taking the time out of their schedule to be here. Thank you, Lord, for our board of trustees, our teachers, our staff, our grandparents club, everyone involved in this Piedmont special place. We pray, God, that you will be with us this evening and watch over us as we have this meeting. Lord, thank you again for loving us. Lord, thank you most of all for Jesus and dying for our sins. Lord, we ask all this in His name. Amen.
All right, thank you, Mr. Welch. At this time in your packet, you should have got last year's minutes, and we'll have our secretary, Ms. Erica, come up and review the minutes with you guys. I apologize, you guys do not have the minutes, but Ms. Erica will be going.
Good evening. I am going to present the minutes from the Piedmont Academy annual parent meeting that was held on Sunday, May 21st, 2023 at 4 p.m. This was for the 2022 to 2023 school year, and I'm just going to hit the highlights because it's 4 pages of minutes. For this. The meeting was called to order at 4:09 by Tyson Wilkerson, board chair. Mr. Welch delivered the invocation. 2 new board members were elected. That was myself and Mr. Daniel Jeffries out of 6 that were running for the 2 elected positions on the board. Ms. Kim Meredith, the current secretary, presented the prior year's minutes and those were approved. We then received the financial report from Mr. Scotty Dumas, the board treasurer. Notably, Mr. Dumas reported that the school operated entirely in the black and had not had to borrow any money for that school year. He reiterated that it was the board's desire to continue to aim for full operation without taking out loans. Mr. Dumas also reported that every year the board considers the school's wish list, but seeks to balance the wishes and operational priorities of the school. He also shared that the board had not raised tuition in the 3 years that he had served on the board and confirmed that tuition would not increase for the 2023 to 2024 school year. We then had a report from Ms. Shirley Hodge of the Grandparents Club. She shared many of the operations of the Grandparents Club, but notably also shared that the Grandparents Club contributes to Piedmont Academy every year, and some of the things they did in the prior school year were to give the teachers a Christmas bonus, arrange and operate the Secret Santa Shop, award a bonus to the Teacher of the Year, award 3 scholarships of $1,000 each to seniors for that school year, of course, host the Grand Bazaar and the 50-50 raffle. And then she also announced that there was going to be a change for this school year, the 2023 to 2024 school year, and the date of the Grand Bazaar. There was then an election runoff that was held for the board member election. And then Mr. Michael Wilson, the Director of Athletics, gave the athletic report. Some of the highlights from his report were that there were 3 GIAA Players of the Year, 4 Coach of the Year awards, 4 state titles, 2 state runners-up, 26 all-region players, and 16 all-state players for that school year. Also, the flag football team was initiated for the first time at Piedmont Academy, and Ms. Marissa Holder was awarded Co-Player of the Year for girls flag football. And finally, that the team won the state runner-up title. Last but not least, Mr. Wilson reported that athletic scholarships were awarded to the Piedmont Academy athletes that were attending Shorter, Young Harris, and Gordon College. Mr. Welch then gave the head of school report. He reported that the student body had grown and that the shared grades of K-4 would have 2 sections for this past school year. That also they would be initiating the academy for 5th and 6th grade. And then Mr. Welch shared that the recent parent survey indicated that the biggest concerns were class size, discipline, and dress code, and that he would be addressing those in the coming school year. Mr. Welch also shared how Piedmont continued to address concerns that arose as a part of the pandemic, notably the Google Classroom, to ensure that students were still learning even if they were not able to attend school in person. Finally, we had the election results for the 2 board positions, and then the meeting was adjourned at 5:15.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Motion, do I have a second? All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? All right, and I have to apologize, I have a lot of hats, and I just introduced myself. I'm the Piedmont Academy Board Chair. All right, moving on to our financial report, Mr. Scotty.
Can everyone hear okay? Because I can't. My sinuses are all stopped up and I can't hear anything. Barely hear myself. But my name's Scotty Dumas. I'm the treasurer, I guess. Glad everyone could come out this afternoon. I'm glad I got here on such short notice. I barely made it. Anyway, as far as the financial report goes, the school is in pretty good financial shape. We still have not had to borrow any money for anything. We've been paying for all the improvements that we've made out of our cash flow. We just about have the lower gym, if that's what y'all call it, paid off. That's the only money that the school owes right now, and we've been on an accelerated payment plan to get that paid off as quickly as possible. As far as anything else goes, we are striving to make some improvements on our buses. We know that's something that a lot of you have issues with. We have issues with buses breaking down on short notice. This past year, we were able, with the help of the Grandparents Club, we were able to lease purchase on one new bus, and hopefully this coming year we can see about getting another new or fairly new bus. We've been able to acquire some from some other institutions. As far as everything else goes, we have not had an increase in tuition. However, this coming year, it looks like we're going to have a small increase. I'm sure everyone's received notice so far. With all the growing pains we have, we're working hard to try to get ahead of it, try to keep up with it. It's a lot to have to deal with. It's a good problem to have. It's better than a problem of not having enough students to pay the bills. So, other than that, if there's any questions, that's probably a road you don't want to go down in here. I'm sure there are questions, but if there's anything anybody would like to know specifically, please contact me or come down and see me after this is over. I'll be glad to help get an answer. If I don't know it, I'll get the answer for you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Scotty. At this time, we'll have the grandparents report. Ms. Shirley.
Good evening. Piedmont County Grandparents Club is honored to speak to you this evening. We are a dedicated group of people that give our talents, our time, our resources to the support of the mission of Piedmont Academy. In the last 5 years, we have raised almost a little over $344,000. Some of that money was spent on computer systems, some was spent on Chromebooks, the gym floor mats that cover this area when things like this happen, the locker room renovations, desks for the new classrooms, PE equipment, a gently used bus, and a new bus lease, which you already heard mentioned. I could continue, but I think that you see that the Grandparents Club has wisely used the funds that we have generated. But with that being said, the $344,000 since 2019 has helped to keep the school from having to raise tuition and fees every year. In addition, the Grandparents Club has not forgotten the teachers and the staff. During pre-planning in August, every classroom teacher received a $100 gift card to purchase items for their classroom. Did you know that all the staff members received monetary Christmas gifts? for the Grandparents Club at Christmas, it's last December. And of course, we honor the Piedmont Academy Teacher of the Year with a monetary gift during post-planning. Our time, our talents, our resources are also used when the Grandparents Club honors all staff with pre-planning and post-planning luncheons. You probably don't know this, but what we call a graduated grandparent continues to make her famous cornbread salad for these luncheons, even though she no longer has grandchildren attending Piedmont Academy. That's the dedication we have. Of course, school needs and staff gifts are not the only areas the Grandparents Club focus upon throughout the year. Were you that mom that received a hideous pair of earrings neatly wrapped in your Secret Santa gift bag? Or were you the dad that opened his neatly wrapped Secret Santa gift to reveal a pair of hot pink Santa socks? Well, one of the Grandparents Club's most beloved endeavors is wrapping those Secret Santa gifts for our elementary students every December. One other way that Grandparent Clubs honor students is through the senior scholarships that were mentioned already. This year we plan to honor 2 graduating seniors with $1,000, and that's going to be awarded on Senior Awards Night in May. None of this would be possible if you, the Piedmont staff, the community, and our members did not support the Fall Bazaar and the 50-50 raffle. The bazaar requires 4 days of setup to prepare for the sale days. These days are long, but really they're lots of fun for those of us who participate. We so appreciate the many volunteers who come to help us prepare for that sale. Did you know you can send your grandparents to help and you can use their hours for your volunteer hours? You might think about it. The 50-50 raffle tickets sell themselves. The odds are better than Powerball. Wait, I don't think I'm supposed to say that. But the 50-50 raffle tickets are, of course, a donation. Yes, the Fall Bazaar and 50-50 raffle is very important for the Grandparents Club, but we grandparents are getting a little older, and we really need parents to help on the last day when it is time to pack it all up. Please, in October, and it's a fine day for UGA, please answer the SOS for help on Saturday afternoon. We need trucks, trailers, packers, and all of you to make cleanup go smoothly. Thank you, and the Fall Bazaar and 50-50 raffle will be here before you know it. Thank you.
Thank you again, Ms. Shirley. All right, moving on, we have that report by Mr. Wilson.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all y'all for coming to us. Nice to see so many people concerned. Not too long ago, it was a little apathetic and probably one section was filled. So we appreciate your support. Piedmont's had a very successful run in athletics the last several years. This school year is no different. We currently provide opportunities in 16 varsity sports, 10 middle school sports, 4 elementary sports, and as Coach Meadows told me today, youth wrestling coming soon. Please see Coach Meadows after asking for an exact date. Our varsity teams continue to be successful. This year, we have had 4 teams winning region titles. Volleyball winning the first ever for that program. Softball, girls basketball, and wrestling also each won region championships. Softball won their 4th straight state title. The girls basketball team repeated a couple weeks ago their state championship. Wrestling team is really on the rise. Coach Meadows doing a great job. Had its most successful season ever. We had 3 individual state champions this year: Boone Pope, Cole Ledden, and the school's first ever girls state champion, Cesaria Lindsay. The team finished in 3rd place, which was the highest in the traditional state tournament, and Austin Anglin won his 2nd consecutive state middle school wrestling title. This year we've had 24 all-region and 20 all-state placements. Marissa Holder was GIAA AA Girls Player of the Year for the 2nd straight year. James Wingate was also the first wrestler from Piedmont to be a national qualifier. All in all, our athletics, and we think it represents the school well in the community, and we hope it continues to help us grow as we need. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson, and now I'll turn it over to Mr. Welch for his school report.
Thank you, Angie. You should have received a handout when you came in. And I'll be just going over some highlights from that. But before I dive into that, I want to make sure that, you know, the Board of Trustees, Board of Directors, we're going to call them, they're not a secret society that, you know, we have these secret meetings, you know, that nobody's up here talk about these things that nobody ever know about. They're either parents or members of the community that want to see Piedmont thrive and grow. But under accreditation guidelines, they have three jobs, and that's it, three simple jobs. It's to set policy and procedure. So at the head of school, I'll go this summer and say, you know, I think that all our boys should have to shave their heads every 2 weeks. If they approve that, that becomes a policy, then that's what will have to happen. They would probably say, well, you're a crazy idiot for not doing that, and then it wouldn't be approved. So set policy and procedure is one of their jobs. Their second job is to maintain the financial stability of the school. For example, I have the entire school painted inside and out. It spends a lot of money. They look at me, hey, we need to slow down a little to spend all our money. Yes, sir, I got it. So we're going to maintain that. Their third function, it says in the accreditation bylaws, is to hire and fire the headmaster. I like to say hire and support the headmaster, which means they were fire out of it. So that's their three functions. And I know oftentimes parents can get upset with a situation, whether it be with a teacher or a coach or a bus incident. They're like, I'm going to the board. And you have to look at them and say, you're welcome to do that, but unfortunately the board's going to say, have you contacted the school? So any kind of concerns you guys have, I try to be available for everyone. I see a lot of faces that I've had one-on-one meetings before with, whether in the parking lot or in my office, and that's my job. My job and our staff's job is to serve you guys. You get the best education for your child here at Piedmont. In turn, we want you guys to support what we're trying to do for your children. Because we all want the same goals. We really do. I want the exact same thing you want for your child. Sometimes we just go at it in a little bit different way of trying to achieve it. So I wanted to make sure that the board roles are clear. So dive into the handout. Obviously, our school has grown. This is my 5th year here, and I know Mr. Andrews is going to talk a little bit about our school growth, but I think at the end of my first year here, we were either somewhere between 207 and 215, and that was the COVID year that took place. And when I was hired 4.5 years ago, somewhat, they charged me, Mr. We want to grow the school. There's been a lot of factors that have gone into growing the school. COVID being one, decline in public education, Jasper County booming, people moving to the area, parents like you who support the school that go into the community and provide praise for our school that others want to come here. So there's a lot of contributing factors to our growth. But growing, as Scotty said, it can cause, it can be a pain, especially when it's so quick like we've occurred. And there are 0 rooms on this campus not being used. If you've ever been up here during the school day, I mean, we had to take our art room and turn it into a classroom for the academy, and our art teacher has a rolling cart, and she rolls around to the individual classroom that has art in the classroom. But we're making it work. Growth is over. We do not want to grow anymore. Tricia Yearwood has not struck us a $10 million check to build us another wing. I wish she would have struck us a check. Anyway, we do not want to grow anymore. We're at the point now where we're going to level out. We want to maintain our core values that our school was founded on. We want to weed out the folks that do not belong here. Ever since COVID, the whole admissions process. When COVID came along, I mean, the rules of the game in education have changed. You know, Google Classroom, nobody heard of Google Classroom in 2015. I've been in education close to 30 years, there's no such thing. But now all of a sudden, whereas used to, when your child had a runny nose and a sore throat, you pop 2 or 3 ibuprofen in there and send them to school, and now we're encouraging you to keep them at home because of COVID. So attendance is a different dynamic now, and so a lot of factors have changed in regard to education. Also, let's look down into like our elementary school. We have 2 sections of everything this year. We had, based on our classrooms, we had to double up one area, and we tried to do it in the smallest area. That was the 3 to 4 year olds. After numerous encouraging emails from some of our 3 and 4 year old parents, we will be definitely splitting the 3s and 4s next year. I want to face a different problem next year. So our 3 year olds will buy themselves next year, our 4 year olds will buy themselves next year. And so as we look forward, the rest of our classes will have 2 sections. The ones that are large, we try to make sure that we put a floating parapro between the 2 sections to help the teachers This also provides individual instruction for students that are struggling as well. With the addition of our academy, that's probably one of the biggest positive decisions that was made. For those that aren't aware, our sixth graders moved up to middle school, and our middle school was 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And a lot of our problems in middle school were caused of the dynamics between sixth graders just being a little immature for all that freedom, and then 8th graders ready to be 9th graders was causing some issues. So we moved our 6th grade with the 5th grade and gave them a separate wing and called it the academy, and has worked out fabulous. Now, one thing that I forgot to mention is that 6th graders, when they came to middle school, they received a locker. So now 6th graders this year in the academy, well, they didn't have a locker. And so that became the focal point of the first 4 weeks of school, as we want lockers. Hey, we can solve that problem. We can order lockers. So our 6th graders now have lockers. It's that made them happy. The academy really worked out great. I think it's going to also help those students in preparing them to move on to middle school, where they will have 4 to 5 different teachers, and they won't be self-contained like they were in elementary school. Our middle school is now smaller. That lunch is smaller. The hallways aren't as crowded down there. They have 4 different subject areas, and they go back to their homeroom teacher for the worldly wise and things of that nature, and then they also have electives that they take. So middle school's been a success as well. Our high school, it seems to start to divide into several tracks. There'll be a dual enrollment honors track, and there's still our traditional track. We have dual enrollment classes with Middle Georgia College. So a lot of our seniors leave out of here sometimes with 4 to 6 to 8 college credits when they graduate. So that's encouraging for our high school. In the handout, we mentioned our school supplies. You'll receive more information regarding our school supplies that makes it easy for you guys. When Erica was reading the minutes, last year we discussed what we call a dress code, discipline, attendance, things of that nature. Those are ongoing battles. That's every year. I'd love to stand here a year from now and say, guess what? Nobody was written up the whole school year. Let's get real. Okay. No kid's hair was ever too long. Let's get real. Attendance is great. The kids come to school every day. It's just not going to happen. Those are things that are going to happen every single year, and you're going to fight it every single year. The encouraging thing from the faculty standpoint is good-hearted, wholesome parents can help us with this. Just look at your child before he walks out the door, and if he has something that he's wearing that's illegal, go make him change. Or if he needs a haircut, give him a haircut, and then I don't have to say all that stuff all day, every day of school people. So you can help us with that. Attendance, we're in the same. If your child's sick, keep them at home. Okay, we can get your work made up. You're allowed the number of days that you miss to get that work made up. For you to be at home. You probably noticed there's been a couple of times this year. I mean, we were borderline on maybe shutting down for a little while. I mean, every time we turned around, Miss Carol had folks checking out of the office that were sick. We do have a private outside company that sprays our entire campus every 2 weeks for germs, flu, COVID, all those things. So we're trying to take all the preventive measures that we can. I'm excited, as Coach said, the crowd is here tonight. It shows that you care. You care about the education your child's getting, which you should, if you spend a lot of good hard money, earn money for that. So we appreciate it. I do want to ask my assistant head school, Mr. Nanner, to come and speak on re-enrollment, and so I'm going to pass it off to her now.
Thank you all, and maybe repeating a few things that probably might be a good thing. First, I'd like to welcome you all and talk to you a little bit about our re-enrollment and our enrollment process and where we are. Currently, we have 31 seniors that are graduating, so excited for them. We have 429 students that have committed to return this year so far. We have 25, and keep in mind we have to subtract those graduating seniors from that, or from the first total. So 25 new applications. We have 4 students that we've already denied. As Mr. Welch mentioned, with the addition of our new classrooms, we were able to split the elementary classes, and we're continuing to move in that direction. With we can say kind of the growth in the COVID bubble reaching high school, we're looking at and working on splitting some of those classes into 3 different sections for next year, so that those classes aren't as large as well. So we're just continuing in that direction. And as Mr. Welch said, he talked a little bit about the growth that he was tasked with, and at this point, and for a lack of better words, we're scaling back. Okay, so we're not, as he said, looking to grow. We're managing our growth. We're looking at it by grade level. We're looking at it by the not you applied, you're accepted, and there's a lot that goes in between that. But we're also looking, and we have been, but looking even more closely now at what grade have you applied for? How much space do we have in that grade so that those classes are not overflowing? Okay. That being said, we're also beginning to reach capacity in some of our grade levels already. So if you have a sibling of a current student, or you know someone who's interested in enrolling for next year, please encourage them to go ahead and get their application in, because we are in some grade levels, probably about 4 or 5 grade levels, reaching capacity at this point for next year. Piedmont is a very special place. I think most of you know, attended Piedmont, graduated from Piedmont, bleed blue, and as we work through and manage this growth, we appreciate your patience. We'll hold true to our core values, and when we are looking at who's accepted and who's denied and who's asked to return or not asked to return to Piedmont, because we're a family, and that's what Piedmont should be. It always has, and it always should be. So we appreciate again all your patience during this growing pains. It means a lot to us. We work very hard every day, and when we hear good things, or we love to see your kids throughout the day, from the first of the year to the end of the year, how much they've grown, how much they've learned, and we appreciate all of your support and feedback as well. Our crest says, and I'll leave you with this, developing students in mind, body, and spirit, and here at Piedmont, that's what our focus is. So thank you all.
All right, thank you. So next up on the agenda is called bylaw changes. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to see the email that was sent out for the survey. This year, the bylaws I don't think have been updated since maybe 2018. We developed a bylaw committee that consisted of 3 of our board members. 2 of them are here today, and sent out some stuff to get y'all's approval to change in the bylaws. I'm just going to go over those briefly, and then open up for any questions related to those changes. As we, like I said, we do have 2 of the committee members here, myself, that could answer those questions for you. So one of the first amendments that we made was that right now it says that the Board of Trustees shall have the right to reject or accept any student as a member of said corporation. That's being changed to the Board of Trustees shall set the policy for admission of students in said corporation, and this policy shall be implemented by the head of school. So part of that is, I don't know if y'all should know, you see the growth, how many kids come in, and the board just really doesn't have the time or availability to sit and go through every child that applies. We've been talking to our GISA counterparts. That's all kind of in violation of accreditation. We're at risk of losing accreditation because that's kind of overstepping what the board is supposed to do. So setting a policy, though, is what we're supposed to do. So what you don't see in the bylaw recommendation is that we have went into that policy, edited, come up with an admissions committee and who should be in that to kind of place more stricter policies in line in terms of accepting students. So that's the first amendment and change that you will see on your survey that we looked at. And I'll just add that a lot of these changes were based off of some recommendations we got from the accreditation people who did the audit. Okay, the next one is that currently the terms shall be staggered, so there'll be 3 elected, 2 appointed members 1 year, and 2 elected and 2 appointed members the 2nd year, and then no appointments the 3rd year. This is the 3rd year, so you will not be voting on board members today. It just seemed like that was a lot to lose at one time, that 1 year. So the amendment would be the term shall be staggered so that 3 board members will begin their term each school year. In the 1st year of the cycle, there's going to be 2 elected members and 1 appointed member. Then in the 2nd year of the cycle, there again will be 2 elected members and 1 appointed member. And then in the 3rd year of the cycle, there will be 1 elected and 2 appointed members. And then the cycle will repeat. So just trying to keep a more consistent board and not have a huge loss at one time of board members who have experienced and been working. We developed a strategic plan, we need board members that are there long enough to kind of see that through. So that was the other amendment and change. The other two that we have, and I think these are just, we'll put together, I'm going to separate these two out, but elected board members will be selected by a majority of votes cast. Runoff votes may be required to achieve a 50% plus one result. That's one change we looked at this last year. We had a very close race, and so trying to make sure that we put that in there, and changing the board calendar, making it begin July 1st. I think last year it seemed like it ended at the parent meeting in May, and there was still school left, and it just felt very sudden. And new board members just kind of felt thrown into what was currently going on. So this change would just allow the current board to finish out that school year before the new board members would begin. And two, our plan is that the elected board members, so still be elected at the parent meeting before that time, could sit in on board meetings until they took their role, listen, see what's going on, get that kind of experience, and know what's expected of them and what the strategic plan is, and build those relationships. So those are what you will see on the survey. It is one per household. So, y'all talk together and make it a joint decision, two of y'all, but one per household. And we have to have, what is the percent of parents that have to vote? 2/3. So it's very important to your friends, there are parents here too, to please just go in and vote. Approve or disapprove, we just need the vote done. So I will now open up for any questions regarding the amendments to the bylaws. Yes?
What is the policy now for the admissions? And what are you changing it to?
Who is on that committee? That is. I do know the one change was, the committee, developing a committee that sits down and reviews it. So before it was, that we review all the information and then accept or reject, have a role in that. And we tried that for a little bit. It was a lot, and originally we said, well, if you are going to deny it, I don't think we would deny it. But it was just a lot. We were already staying at board meetings till 10, 11 o'clock at night. So, I know that was one change, is that the board assigned who would be part of that committee to review, the new students. Do any of y'all remember that?
Or the actual policy, I believe is still the same.
Well, it's the same policy that's on the website. So what the bylaws included was obviously. Yeah, sorry. So the board was originally in the bylaws to admit students, which actually came from the 1970s when the school was created, when everyone knew everyone in Monticello, and Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's sort of like, oh, this is so-and-so's niece, or this is, So it was sort of an archaic policy, and we were advised by the GISA that, board members being accepting and rejecting students is really not a board member role. So we looked at revising that, and in fact, the admissions policy that we plan to implement is really just starting on Piedmont Academy's website. So it's really just making the head of school the appropriate person, giving him the power that he needs to admit students, which is really what the GISA intends. So, does that answer your question? All right. Any other questions about?
Who comprises this committee?
I know it is Allison, Mr. Welch, Jennifer, and a teacher of the so it's a fourth grader that's applying. A teacher from that age group would be a part of that as well.
So the teachers will have a say.
Are you asking, so there's an admissions committee that was reviewing the admissions policy on the board, but then there's also who's going to be in charge of admissions for admitting students. So which one are you asking about?
Yes. Both.
Okay. Myself and Wade Stroud are on the admissions committee. Okay. We reviewed what was submitted through accreditation, those changes, talked with Morris Jackson, who served on Piedmont's board for how many terms over the past several decades? Just to get the history for why that was even in the bylaws, why it wasn't amended in 2018, and that's sort of why I'm privy to that information from when the school was founded. And then as far as who will be on the admissions committee for accepting new students going forward, will no longer be the board, it will be Mr. Welch, the second head of school, and Allison, the director of admissions.
So no teachers.
And a resource teacher. Okay, sorry.
What's the definition of a resource teacher?
Well, I'm not gonna give a definition of a resource teacher, but when a student applies, if there's question marks regarding their test scores, or if they have a learning disability, anything like that, then we will test them. And Coach, I know you work here, usually elementary students, we have Dr. Cody test them, and high school students, we let Coach Moore or her possibly test them and go on their recommendations. Because they will be the teachers that actually work with those students more, and I myself or the current classroom teacher. That kind of helps.
Other questions? All right, let's see any. Oh, yeah.
Just to be clear, the policy stays the same, you're just now giving the admissions people the authority to admit or deny.
Right, because if it's in the bylaws, then we gotta do it legally. And so when, like I said, when accreditation came and read that, they were like, y'all should not be doing that. And so we needed to change it to be kind of in line with our accreditation. All right, I wanna add too that soon, I think Monday, we're gonna meet as a board and, we'll review the parent surveys that will be coming out soon. Please, please, please take those. There will be some changes this year. There'll be some comment sections. We will also be doing for the first time a staff survey this year. So if you're a teacher, you can do both. It's still like kind of parent surveys, one per household, but we want, if you're a parent and a teacher, put on your parent hat for the parent survey, put on your teacher hat for the teacher survey. But those will be coming out probably next week, as long as if there's changes that need to be made. It may not come out Tuesday, but look for the parent and if your staff, the staff survey coming out very soon. I encourage you all to do those. As was mentioned even in the minutes from the last meeting, we do take those things. We sit down with Welch and Jennifer, we go over the findings. So you're not just doing them in a base look now. We do look at those and assess those and talk about those as well. Did anybody want to add anything to the survey? All right.
Can I ask one more question about admission?
Yes, go ahead.
I should probably know, but I don't. What is the actual criteria when you look at that applicant? Is it just grades? What else is evaluated to allow somebody admission?
Right. We did a teacher recommendation, and I think we did think about tweaking the teacher recommendation form from what it's been. We get test scores, but the school that they're coming from also has to send a behavior report. And we go through that. If there's been any behavior issues, that's taken into account. That's anything. I know those test scores, behavior, attendance, and the teacher recommendation. But we are, like I said, looking at possibly tweaking that teacher recommendation, which maybe our employers, sometimes people will get good recommendations to get rid of somebody, so that's why all that other stuff is important.
Does Piedmont have plans to reinstate testing with new admissions? Because we put that on hold when COVID came. We used to test, everybody who applied was tested, and we looked at, their reading levels and their math levels, and, to get, that's just gonna give you a snapshot, but put that together with everything else that we have on the child, so that we try to get the best picture we can of where the child is academically, where the child is behaviorally, are they an athlete, are they in literary events, so is that gonna, do we have plans to kind of roll that back out, or do we say what from that?
Once a student applies to
My question was, are we going to reinstate testing for new applicants? Because we stepped away from that when COVID hit. And so we used to, when you applied, our counselor would test you and get a look at, like, your reading level, your math level, your science level, and that would give us additional information on the child that we would put together with what we received from the other school?
So as it stands right now, no, we do not test every single kid that applies. We don't. If they're good behavior, good grades, test well, we don't test them. But there's question marks in there where test scores are low, academics are low, behavior haven't been tested, then we are going to test them. And that's like we discussed earlier, to try to make sure that we have the students that we want here at Piedmont. Monticello is a small town, and if I can ever get my hands on that person that's named somebody, I'm going to choke them. Okay? Because somebody said, and somebody told me, oftentimes they're not really 100% accurate what they're talking about. Most of the time parents get a story from their child, and kids sometimes don't have all the facts and situation. The parents like to turn and run with it, so there's all kind of rumors. If you've got weekly, we've already turned 2 away last week. I mean, they both want to get in, and they weren't Piedmont students, so we told them no. So don't believe the myths or rumors that everybody can get in that wants to get in, because it's not true. And the ones that don't belong here, we will weed them out, but it is a process. We want to provide every student at the school with the same grace. It doesn't matter if you were born in Jasper County, Butts County, Henry County, Morgan County, it's all the same. But we do want to make sure that we do have a process where we're getting the students that we want here. If that makes sense.
Question on admissions. I heard what you said about going through it, but there's something I thought that was lacking. You asked about their religious background. You left out asking if they're in church, asking their pastor about them. Ever thought about that?
I know in the application there is a question about what church you attend. I don't know if we've ever thought about like reaching out to their pastor to get a recommendation.
And one last question: How do you marry the public scores from schools to what I hope Piedmont has a higher standard? How do you marry the two? I might be a straight A student at a public school. I hope that Piedmont academics are higher than that. That's why I put our grandson here.
Yeah. I do, and they can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe one thing is when you get the records from the public school, you should still have that state testing. I have a 25-year-old that went all the way through public school. So yeah, I might have a teacher, and when I was in high school, I know that there's a certain basketball player that he just got the grades because he went to the NBA, whatever. But that state testing, can't really fudge that. So I think looking at that, and then Jennifer's got something else to add, helps, because.
So one question there. We have in elementary, I haven't seen a state test done since first grade, and it was lost, the results. So how do we even know our students if we're not doing the core competency testing? How do we even know where we rank?
We do the core competency testing. I don't know how long ago that was. This is my second year here. It's actually coming up in April. But to go back to your other question, when you were talking about the different schools that students are transferring from and coming to Piedmont, they're not all at the same standard or the same level of curriculum. I think, was that what you were getting at?
Yeah,
And
it's just based on grades.
Right. And so that is something that I worked in the university system for a long time, and I'm very familiar with those schools. And you're exactly right, they're not. And that's something that we take into consideration as well, because we know the schools in the area. We know, okay, all right, this student has a straight A's, and they're coming from this school, and that's not the equivalent of straight A's coming from this school. So we do look at that.
So if you admit there's an issue with the variations in public schools, or even other private schools coming here, because we came from another private school here 4 years ago, why not test everybody that comes in?
Because when we look at the files, I mean, if a student needs to be tested, we will test them. Some come with test scores, some do not. But it's the same thing when you go to college, okay? There's different schools like Piedmont that are looked at in a different light than maybe another school. So If it's needed to be tested by looking at the whole child, or to meet with them, we brought students in to meet with as well, then we will test them.
I think the concern a lot of parents have, and I've heard from a lot of parents at sporting events.
Mm-hmm.
How about put it right? I'm not a PC person, so I apologize.
No, go for it. You're fine.
The decline in what Piedmont is over the years is evident. Is what's coming in. It's not what, when I went to school in Newton County, which public school kid, got it. Piedmont was the place to go. I was thrilled when my kids had the opportunity to come here. But some of the kids that are coming in are causing more of a disruption than they are benefiting the kids. I'm not saying all of them. I can't tell you specifically, they're Ola, Locust Grove, Newton, Eastside. I can't tell you that. But the kids themselves, some of them that are being allowed to come in, are not Piedmont material. In my opinion, that's just me. Sorry. Not a PC guy. I'm not.
I will say, if a child has been in public school their entire life, 5 years, 6 years, how many years, all of a sudden their parents want to send them to Piedmont. And their grades are fine, behavior's fine, parents can pay their bills, all that stuff. And they walk through, just because they put on a Piedmont collar shirt, they don't all of a sudden start acting like Piedmont kids. It's a process. Just because you walk in and put that hat on, I can dress up like a cheerleader. I promise you, I'm not a cheerleader. It takes time for them to become a Piedmont kid. And we've seen kids that have been on academic or behavior probation that were hanging on by the skin of their teeth to stay a student here. And next year they turn the corner and learn, I can't act that way. I have to do my homework. I have to study and pass. I had 2 in my office today. I said, look, your grades can come up or you won't be a student here next year. This falls in their court then, They bring the grades up, great. I want to be here. They can't pass, they waste their parents' money, we'll send them back to where they came from. And again, we can revisit on testing every single student that comes in. I'd venture to guess that if all of y'all's kids would have been tested when they came into Piedmont, well, all of them still be here. Maybe so, maybe not. I don't know. But if that's the standard that the board wants to go to, I tell them all the time, I'm coachable. You just tell me what you want to do, and I'll try to make it happen. So these are all very, very good, valid questions and valid points. So I appreciate the feedback.
I have a question. Are the board's minutes made available to your parent stakeholders?
So we had that question. I reached out to the GISA rep.
What was the question? It's
Are the board minutes made
or made
public?
available to parents?
I know these are. Let me find what he told me. Because we did have a parent ask to see them, so I always, from a vibe that I'm getting, accreditation is important here, right? So being a part of GISA is important. So I always try to reach out to him because I know that we've got our hands kind of tapped a little bit about some of the things we talked about because there's accreditation. And as soon as I get his response, I'll let you know what he said about the board member minutes. Oh, that's right. Okay, they remind me there. So when you become a board member and you do the training, one of the first things they'll tell you is what's said in the boardroom has to stay in the boardroom. So part of that is because
we're not a secret society and then not have full transparency to your parent stakeholders.
Right. And I think, if you want to ask us anything about, like I said, our main goal is like finances, so we talk about the finance stuff, and I know we've got some teachers in here, and if we're talking about salaries or something, they probably wouldn't want that public. We do talk about
in a public school system. I work for the government. You can look my salary up right now.
Yeah, I work for the state too, so you can look mine. But that is just that is the training we get. That what is said in the boardroom stays in the boardroom.
And is that a Piedmont policy or an accreditation?
That's the GISA policy.
If there's ever any questions, email me, set up a meeting. I'll answer any questions that y'all have, as long as it doesn't break the confidentiality of the boardroom. So if you want to know, hey, we're going to get lights on the baseball field, I'll tell you everything that I know. I'll be very transparent. I thought your husband was in charge of taking care of that.
Other questions? on to the drawing, the tuition drawing.
Thank you, Angie. All right, while Jennifer is stirring all up, first of all, thanks to everyone who participated in the tuition raffle / $7,500 prize. We appreciate y'all's support. One thing while she gets all these up, when you receive your survey, and I had a former board chairman say this, I'm not the CEO of Apple, okay? If you want to meet with me, I've met, come meet, come sit down and talk with me. I'm available. I said it earlier, I'm here to serve you guys. That's part of my job, okay? So I just, you get a survey, man, we can get off the break behind this. That dang headmaster, my boy got hit in the back of the head with a baseball bat, and he didn't do nothing to him, and I'm like, I don't know what this guy's talking about, you know? So make sure that if you ever want to meet with me, please set the time to come meet with me, okay? All right, so we're about to make one person very, very happy. Also on that, Lord. All right, the winner is Wayne in Loganville. So we will be contacting Wayne in Loganville. All right? I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Hold on.
Just real quick before y'all go, I do want to add about your transparency. I don't know how many of y'all saw something that we are trying to do as a board, though, too, is send out the board newsletter. And so we have, I think, you said that, right? Or just here, the board newsletter.
Yes, yes, sir.
So we try to put like things that we're working on in there, what the board's focus is. So while we can't share the board minutes, we are going to try to send you guys out a quarterly newsletter of what the board's focus is, what we're working on, that sort of thing. So we are trying to get more information out to you guys so that y'all kind of see, y'all can just hanging out, chatting, laughing. So he was just saying some of the things that we talked about last time, we may be talking about a student, and some of the issues they have going on, and then we also may be talking about like employee issues. So those, not like salaries, but disciplinary or other kinds of issues. So those are a couple of things that sometimes get in the
It
minutes.
would just be nice to receive like a treasurer's statement or where we're at financially, because we hear things like we're operating in the black, but then we're over or salary or, that would be expensive. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, typically our executive session, what we were told by DGSA, and what we really focus on is like, Welch's review, anything to do with him, because he's part of the board meetings. So anything that we need to talk about outside of him, that's what the executive session is for. So he usually brings us any issues that we need to talk about, like student issues or employee issues. So that is during the regular board meetings. The executive session is just the things that we need to talk about away from Welch. That makes sense. He's part of the executive committee. Yeah. So executive session is just a breakout from the board meeting, or we see the executive committee is just kind of, and Welch is part of that. So just when the officers meet. Right, he's part of all committees. So, any other questions?
There's one right there, right here.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I got the letter, it said that it was like an instant program, and it was my child's challenge, and that's not what I was seeing. So I'm just wondering, did I get, like he said, somebody told me that y'all told him that
Yeah, well,
it was more of like a break for the kids, and if that's the case, like, I just want to know what it is. Like,
yeah, well, the WIN stands for what I need. And so our elementary teachers, they try to determine the different learning levels where our students are, whether they're in gifted or tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 learners. And if their needs are 2 days extra a week for reading, then we have that. If they're in the gifted program, we try to make sure it's in the gifted program for 2 days a week. So I know that we've had some parents email us before, possibly in questions, why is my child not gifted? Or there yet, I prefer my child not go to the gifted program anymore. And we make sure, answer those questions and hear those combinations. So that's kind of, if you you want to know more about the actual WIN program, I would just contact your lead teacher, whether it be, I know Ms. Swan is our lead teacher in the elementary school, Ms. Julie Black is the lead teacher for the academy, and they can probably answer those questions better than I can.
All right. Anything else?
Have y'all ever given any thought to having an athletic, not the AD, but like an athletic administrative assistant that can help with scheduling, getting the information out on athletics? A lot of us have kids that play crossover sports, and it definitely seems like there's no communication or no consideration given between the different sporting events and what kids might play in. So if there was like an administrative assistant that could help with scheduling and just kind of, I know you can't prevent everything from crossing over, but it does seem like there's no collaboration or consideration given between different athletics with scheduling involved.
So, yes, we have to put thought into that, and we're trying to put something into action with that, but I agree. For example, like tonight, I told all my coaches, we're not having any ball games on the family night. But then a situation came up for our golf team, the only chance for them to play on the course they played the state tournament, was today. So I allowed them to, it's only affected 5 or 6 families. So believe it or not, we don't make decisions flipping coins. There's a lot of thought to the all of our decisions. It may not make sense to you sometimes, which is why this is what you should do. Just point blank ask, and hopefully we can give you that answer. So, yes, we are in works looking to try to get an athletic administrative assistant to help with some of that communication.
All right. Rising senior parents, pick up stuff over there. I got it for you. If we're good, then do I have a motion to adjourn? Second? All right, all in favor? All right, thank
How y'all doing? Wanna watch a lot of music? I figured you'd do pretty good with that. Let's see what's watching Star. Do what? Getting busy.
you.
Thank you.